Okay, everyone, welcome to Warhammer Quest. I'm Tigbun, or Benjamin Hernandez, from Cards and Cardboard Review. So today we're looking at the digital version of Warhammer Quest. Now this is available on, I believe, the iOS App Store, and also on the Android App Store. But this is the PC release from Steam, so we're going to kind of look at this game and see what we can figure out about it. So first of all, let's set it up so we can actually do some high-definition recording here. There we go. Now, the brilliant thing about this game is it does come in multiple languages. So you do have English, Italian, French, Spanish, and German. You also have, various resolution options for your screen, including windowed. Unfortunately, not, borderless windowed mode, but it's something. You got your music and sound effect volume, and that's about it for actually the settings of the game. You've got your About section, which shows you who made the game and how to contact them. You've got your additional content, which is all the DLC that is available for the game. These are mostly things like actual extra characters here. So, like, here's the Archmage, the Bright Wizard, the Dwarf Trollslayer, Shadow Warrior, Ogre, Iron Gut, Warrior Priest, and Witch Hunter. And then you have additional weapon or enemy packs and regions, which will expand your game. Now, here's the weird ones, because you got these legendary weapons, which you actually do unlock right away and can equip, and they're pretty powerful, so I would suggest kind of maybe leaving those off in your inventory for a while. You've got your dungeon packs here, which gives you more additional dungeons and adventures, including vampires and zombies, the vampire tile set, and the necromancers and skeletons. Now, back when the Steam sale was going on, I actually got the deluxe edition of the game, which came with all this DLC, which you can see is like $1.49, $2.49, 49 cents right there. Pretty much on the 50s. And, well, I only pay like $3, $4 for this game, so I feel good about that, but obviously the DLC is pretty expensive, especially if you're looking to expand the game. So we're just going to go right into here into play. Now, you got your kind of party name, you got your difficulty, and you got your options. Not to say here that basically your difficulty depends on what you're looking at. So we're gonna go party name the Chumps. There. Now, casual means that warriors will not be permanently killed, and the combat will be simplified, and dice rolls will be heavily modified towards you. You've got the adventure, which, again, warriors are not permanently killed, but the dice rolls are a bit more fair. And then you've got the true difficulty, or hardcore mode, which is pretty much the tabletop version of the original Warhammer Quest, where everything can die. Now, that's not to say that you won't have access to that character anymore. You actually will just have that character reset back down to level 1, so that's something to keep in mind. So we're going to go ahead and continue and show you what it's like. I could show you the tutorial, but it'd be easier just to kind of go into the game. So, we get our little non-story here. All heroes die, eventually, inevitably. Method and character determine this land. Not the march of time. Looting, indulging, mere distractions from what you crave. An idea above trinkets. To last forever. A calling, a legend. Yeah, that's really not much of a story. It's basically saying, adventurers be, doing their things. Yours begins. ... Ellipses. Nice low-resolution image back here if you're looking on the high-quality stream, so, it's not pretty, but at least most of the other parts of the game kind of look good. Moving on. Yep, this will be a bit of a longer review, but this is just to kind of give you an idea of how this compares to the tabletop version. And we are actually doing the editing for Warhammer Quest, the adventure card game, so it's going to be kind of like this, except, with cards, without any of the terrain, the tiles, or the minis, so. Alright, squashing bugs. Every adventurer starts somewhere. Yours begins with the promise of gold from a mad old farmer. He seems to think the local spider populace is amassing an army to rise up and eat his crops, and possibly him as well. Your party finds themselves standing at the entrance of an abandoned mine. Plow through these arachnids and go to collect your reward. Okay, so basically you've got your 4 heroes here, which we start off with the Barbarian, the Wizard, the Dwarf Ironbreaker, and the Elf Wayfinder. So the game pretty much has you see that there's a lot of things hidden behind little charts here. So you actually have to kind of go into this little side tab to look at all the stats and stuff here. So we got our warrior up here. So unfortunately you don't get to name him. Called Red, he's a level 1 marauder, or the barbarian kind of class. He gets 4 movement points. His weapon skill is 3, ballistics 2, strength 5, toughness 3. He gets 1 melee, 1 ranged, and 1 pinning attack. So if that means anything to you, that's basically the stats of the game. In the old Warhammer Quest, it's basically a comparison system. So I would add my weapon skill and roll it against somebody's armor, and basically factor in, strength versus toughness for damage as well. And then they also have a number of wounds here. Now this is also the experience track here. That shows you how much experience it takes to level up this character to the 2nd level, and thus usually increase stats and gain new abilities. So here the Wood Elf Waywatcher, again still same movement, weapon, added the ballistic skill, which means for shooting things. Less strength, less toughness, only 1 melee, only 1 ranged, and that's in addition to each other. But pinning is 8, so pinning is a pretty nice thing to have, because the lower it is, I believe, the less likely you are to get pinned, or the higher you are, the less likely you are to get pinned and are able to run away. Yes, the Dwarf Ironbreaker, movement 4, weapon 3, ballistic 2, wounds 13. Strength and toughness 4/4, no ranged attacks, 1 melee attack, and pinning factor of 2. Then finally the Grey Wizard. So here's the thing about the Grey Wizard, is the Grey Wizard actually doesn't have like a reliable mana system that like many traditional role-playing games have. He actually has these different spells here from his book that require a writ of magic, or winds of magic, in order to activate, and at the beginning of every turn he actually would roll dice to figure out how many of those he actually has, and that would determine what spells he could cast that turn. So you might get a little screwed if you are rolling low and you want to cast like a big powerful spell, so that's something to keep in mind. I have dodge ability for the Waywatcher and Berserk, which is pretty great for the Marauder, because basically at the start of the turn he's got a chance to go to Berserk, but if he is able to control himself, he gains 1 additional attack, which means I can attack 2 guys engaged in melee. I don't think anyone else has any sort of special things here, except for here's the loot. Here's what I was talking about with the legendary items. As you can see, the Slayer of Kings does 10 to 12 damage and has a bunch of special abilities, whereas at the start of the game the Hand Axe gives you 1 to 5, so it is objectively better, and it would be nice if these were unlockable through gameplay rather than just handed off to you at the first chance they get. So that's basically what you're looking at for the character sheets and the items in the inventory. Obviously you're going to be picking up things that are going to help you out, and you're going to equip them over time, so your basic gear here, your common items, your uncommon items, and rare items. And things like the band-aids are nice because they allow you to heal damage off of people, which is very important in this game, and you will be able to buy those again. So in the original Warhammer Quest, it was usually one player is kind of playing either everybody, or like everybody at the table is controlling their own characters, and that's how the game really was kind of designed. Here, though, it's all just the one person, so I click where I want to go for the movement path, I move my elf, I move my warrior up. Oh, there's nothing down this corridor, let's keep moving. I can zoom out, I can rotate, which is pretty nice. So this is a right-click functionality and left-click functionality, which is kind of nice because you didn't really have that with the app version. I believe you actually have the twist and pull mechanics of a touchpad, so I'm done, so I'm going to end my turn. So there's 3 winds of power, so that means I can cast Shadow Daggers, I think, if there's anything in range. Unfortunately, right now there's like not a lot, so we're just going to kind of move ahead. Now, in the original Warhammer game, every turn you move, you actually would roll dice and determine whether any random events happen to you. This also was like a deck of cards that people would make as well. So we're going to go ahead and move the warrior up and start seeing what's coming in. So we moved into a new room. We spawned 5 giant bats. So that's how this mechanic has always worked. You kind of always draw a tile and you roll for what kind of things are going to be encountered. So we're going to go ahead and just click. We miss. Again, we're fighting our ballistic skill versus their armor skill, and really and truly, it would be nice to see like dice rolls, but of course, we got nothing here. So I don't want to end my turn yet, but I do want to cast Shadow Bolt. Can I do it in a square? No. So I have to select an area with a creature in it, but I get a nice AoE here, so we're gonna go BAM! And, well, I killed one thing. I guess that's something. So hopefully what we're going to go for here is this dwarf's going to kill his bat and then do a follow-up attack on the other bat here, because that was a mechanic that was really interesting. It was kind of cleave built into the game system for D&D nerds. So you had the Death Blow, which gives us the second attack there. Can't move after attacking, but we can at least move our elf up and get a pot shot off on one of these guys, which we might as well go for the far range one. And we kill that, so we're collecting gold, because every time you kill something you collect gold. Now, one thing to note is it is important who kills what, because if the okay, so we got an extra attack, which is not bad, so we're pinned, but we get to kill that thing. Alright, and we get a dungeon card, which tells us what we found in the room. Potion of Toughness, which increases our toughness. Optionally, we can sell it off for 40, so we're just going to go ahead and add that to our stash. And we're going to move the dwarf up, and the elf up. But basically, yeah, you get experience every time your hero kills something, so you actually kind of want to spread out who's killing what, because you'll find yourself in a situation where, like, the Marauder is leveling up a lot quicker than the Wizard. Thankfully, the Wizard also gets credit for doing other things, such as, like, healing, which unfortunately we don't need to do, but that is an option for 5 writs of magic, or winds of magic, I'm sorry. I'm using some old terminology from other games, so got nothing else, so we right-click, or we click off of everybody and we end turn. And we don't encounter anything, so boom. So we'll start moving things up here. It's like, yep, let's explore a dungeon. Let's explore a dungeon. And we got bats. So much for the spiders. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and do a regular attack here. So that's something that you can do, is you can kind of click on everything and figure out what they all have for stats. Obviously, toughness 2 is not great for them, because then they die pretty easily. But that's bats for you. So we're going to go ahead and move the elf up here. He's got clean line of sight of everything here, so... Yep, or she, I think. We really should click on one of these bats and figure out... They have 8 movements, so... Unfortunately, there is no, like, grid, but if you're good enough to see where the grid is with tiled rooms like this, you'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead and... Yeah, actually, we don't want to move the wizard too far up, so we'll do that. I've got nothing in melee of me, so I can't use Shadow Daggers, and I can't use Shadow Bolt, because there's nothing close enough, so we're going to go ahead and let these bats start moving. We can also fast forward to see where they go. Yeah, and of course they go after the wizard, so... Because they have the AI pathing that they did back in the original game, which was to kind of go after the person with the lowest HP. So we're going to go ahead and smack. Can't move after you attack, unfortunately, but you can just kind of hope to keep wailing on them. Now, the elf has a special thing where you get a melee and a ranged, so I do get to attack twice. Oh, wait. Ah, no, I don't. Because I'm pinned. I have 5 writs of magic. I can do healing at least, so we'll do that. And then we'll go back behind the guy here. Let the bats do what they do, because they're pinned now, so they're not going to be moving around. Although they might kill my elf already, which is not good. So we'll target them, and hopefully our Marauder actually gets the death blow, and he missed. But he gets a second attack, so there we go. And ooh, we got some Waywatcher garb. This is kind of like a really nice thing to get for the Waywatcher, so we can actually go into our inventory here and go ahead and give that to... No, I've already got it selected. Yeah, that's the other thing about this mechanic, is they still use the app version, so you gotta slide up and down here to select which one you're adding stuff to, so... well, what's our other gear do? That's 1 to wounds. That allows us to do the bow and the thing. What's more important, having more toughness or more wounds? I think more toughness helps us out a little bit more. So, gear is pretty much random, so you're going to be looking for that all the time and trying to get what you would declare as like more legendary style gear or specific for characters. Hopefully don't get attacked here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move the Marauder up. We're going to take the safety of this turn and just go ahead and... that's not enough. We'll go ahead and use the Band-Aids, because this elf needs it. And then we can keep moving. So, I think we'll explore and keep moving ahead. Squishing bugs! Maybe the old farmer wasn't as mad as he previously thought. Calling the spider horde an army might look like a stretch, but he was right. There are a lot of them down here. From the looks of the room, it's only going to get worse. So we've got 4 spiders and 4 rats, which is not good for us, because, well, spiders are a little tough, so because they've got these abilities that allow them to move around and tie us up, so we don't want that. So we're going to go ahead and move up here, put our guy up there, and miss. Well, we do have a fingered death scroll, but it's kind of a waste right now, because again, you can't quite click it to look at it. You actually have to go into your inventory to see what that actually does. See, 13 to 15 or 30 to 15 damage, which is really nice, but it's kind of a waste using it on spiders. So we're gonna go ahead and fast forward, because this is very slow even with the fast forward on. So our dwarf's up there taking some damage, and everything's crowding up like it usually does. Now, if you're familiar with like Descent or Hero Quest, this is where this mechanic of just kind of getting everything you can up there to, you know, deal damage and really just kill things. We're gonna move our elf back a little bit, and we're gonna take a pot shot at this spider here. And we have 4 Winds of Magic, which is not enough to do crap again, but we could move up there and do a Shadow Daggers, which could deal a potential 3 death blows. But again, our wizard's only got 13 health and not a lot of toughness, so... Actually, how much toughness does this wizard have? Let's see. Well, he's actually got toughness 3, so he's pretty average. But still, I think we... Yeah, let's risk it just for the sake of showing you how this works. So we got Shadow Daggers that we can do now, so boom. And we'll attack this guy. Okay, that's not an AoE, but we get, you know, multiple attacks, so... See what I mean? It's pretty great. And we also get a melee. And we watch him die as he gets attacked by everything. Oh, he got a counterattack. Oh, well, this wizard's kicking some serious butt today. Oh my gosh. This wizard. Oh, we should call you, you know, Gotard the Ballsy or something. Jesus. Or Jeezum. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So I can still hurt my own guys, but... Oh my gosh, he just, like, slaughtered everything. Okay, so we got a longsword, and we are victorious. So we clear the adventure. Our wizard kicked some serious butt here, so we'll see that in the results. So here's the experience that's dealt out. So we got a hefty 580 experience for our wizard, which is pretty great, and that includes his heal, because you get experience whenever you heal. But all those kills is just amazing. So hopefully he'll level up and we'll get ourselves some really good wizard here. So we'll take you into town and show you what it's like. Well done, you've made it out of your first dungeon in one piece, more or less. Now let's go to the nearest settlement, Strigfieldhof, to spend your hard-fought earnings. Click on the settlement and press the travel button to move there. So this is the settlement phase. Basically, between quests, you had this light role-playing experience where you could actually go into town and, you know, carouse, drink, booze up, train. You know, you could learn new abilities and redo your spells. This happens every time you go into this town, though. It's kind of sad, so you can actually skip for the animation. Alright, so you can buy and sell loot in settlements, you level up heroes, and all manner of other activities. Select a warrior in the central carousel. Then use the location buttons on the middle panel to send them off into town. Warriors may experience all sorts of events when they are sent to locations. When you're ready to start adventuring again, just click the Go Adventuring button. However, it appears someone wishes to speak to you first. So we got ourselves the first quest here. This is actually set in the game already, so you don't get as much like randomness as you did in the original tabletop, but you know, you do get some sort of story to play with, which is really nice. And the game is fairly repeatable, and you can do many quests and level up different characters. So you do have a lot of different ways of playing the game. So, the Miserable Minstrel. As the adventurers approach Steinfeldhof, they spy a lonesome figure sat upon a 2-league waystone to the town. Your party is wisely cautious. The man you see coming doesn't seem to care. Closer inspection reveals him to be wearing a garb of a minstrel. "I suppose you're going to rob me," he says with a dour expression on his face. Not having much use for a beaten-up instrument or his rags, you ignore the minstrel and move towards Strangfelhof. "Not thieves, then," he shouts after you. "I bet you like riches all the same." Did he say riches? Your party pauses. "Ah, got your attention." He jumps up off the waystone and smiles for the first time. "I know there's a hoard, you see, a pile of gold and jewelry stolen by bandits. Same bandits stole my loot. Not this sold thing, but an instrument of pure beauty, encased in silver and inscribed with the most wonderful fashion. So I'll guide you to the dungeon, clear out all the creatures, and you can keep the treasure, but the loot is mine." You meet outside Stringfelhof when you're ready, so you actually have like a little adventure there you can already start doing. So we got a quest that we can actually participate in. So here's what he means by going through town and having them do various actions here. So we can select all these people, they can do their actions. But then we also have all the DLC characters, so here you go. And we can rename them in this area, so we're going to call this guy, you know, Goltard the Ballsy. There. Because, you know, he did pretty well for himself. And that's just kind of the humor that came with the original Warhammer Quest, was being able to really, like, edit your character and rename them and give them an intricate, stupid little backstory from what you did. And these classes were great for doing that. Thankfully, I hope we will see these in the card game, but, you know, for now we got enough that it's not bad, but it's not as replayable as I wish it was. And, you know, custom classes were a fun thing to do in this game as well, back in the original Warhammer Quest, so... not to relive the glory days, but those were kind of nice times. So we're gonna go ahead and like sell off some of our loot here, because I don't think we're gonna need this this wood elf amulet anymore. Unfortunately, we didn't really get anything too good that we wanted to keep. So we're gonna go back and actually, can we change the equipment here? Or yeah, okay, that's just the explanation of what everything is in the game and how the game actually is played. So if you want to ever know about some of the functions in the game, this is where you really go. And they'll tell you about all the abilities of every character, enemy types. Ah, there we are. Okay, so let's compare the sword here. So we got a 1 to 5, or 3 to 5 damage versus 1 to 5 damage. So overall, it's more reliable than the hand axe. So, of course, we're going to upgrade from that. The wizard here had a regular short swords, so we're not going to be able to upgrade them at all. So we're going to go ahead and just go back into town here. And we'll go to the market and sell off that tiny little sword or hand axe, because it's not really worth much to us right now, but it is worth gold, which we can use to buy more band-aids or go and buy more weapons from here. As you can see, green, blue, and yellow. These do change much like the old role-playing game, or tabletop game, because some of the stuff in the town was randomly generated and some of the stuff was not. In this case, these are all available for purchase and are always available, but in the extended and advanced versions, you actually had a bit more variety. I might be talking a bit much, but that's the way we played it. So here you can see the entire Adventurers Guild, who's available, what levels they're currently at, how much experience they have. You got the training grounds, which you can use to level up, and it requires money and a certain amount of experience to level up. And then you've got the temple, in which you can pay here to get blessed. And that's kind of just a random roll to see if you're going to do well. So we're going to go ahead and pray, see if we get any luck. Maybe we get special thing. Okay, here. When activated, the warrior gains 2 melee attacks for the remainder of the turn. So we actually have a gift of battle that we can use in one dungeon. And basically we get 2 extra attacks to save our butt, which is not bad. And that's about it to the game, really. I mean, you go adventuring, you go questing, you find more stuff here. If you're interested in a little bit more playthrough, just leave a comment below. But at this time, I think I'm just going to go adventuring and kind of show you a little bit of the beginning of the world here. So this gives you an example of like quests and where you can go. So we got like these little icons here. And as you can see, there's a lot to the world of the old world that is there to explore, and we've got an excellent party of heroes that are going to be very much helpful. As you can see up here, we've got the various quests in the game. These are basically showing you if you've completed the quests in the game or not, and that's what I came up to saying, is like, yes, the quests are kind of repeatable, but again, you're going to be missing out on a lot of replay factor because of the fact that they're set in stone and they're not random like in the original tabletop. But since the original tabletop's not available, we do have the Warhammer Quest adventure card game that is hopefully going to slowly kind of fill that gap of what we've been missing for games like that. I mean, I know that in these day and age we got Descent and Imperial Assault and all that stuff, but it is kind of nice to have this like goofy fantasy world that is super serious but also super dark at the same time. So, and a little humor kind of strung in here and there. So I'm going to end the recording here, and thank you so much for watching Cards and Cardboard doing our digital stuff. Look forward to more of our projects coming out for the digital side because of after the Steam sale. We are working our best on getting some live play for some other content, such as BattleCon. We'll hopefully have a few other reviews coming up here in the next few weeks. Again, we're trying to release a video every week or two. It's very hard for us because it's a lot of editing that my wife has to work on, and I've got to write up and actually play the games before I actually do reviews. So it's not just me spouting off things randomly like the digital ones here, but I enjoy doing this, and it's fun to show off some games that are on Steam. So thank you so much. Have a good night, everyone.